We turn our attention now out west, where a wet winter and spring had brought hopes for a quiet wildfire season. It's turned out to be anything but, and in fact could be one of the worst in American history. More than 80 large wildfires are burning in 10 western states. At least 9 firefighters have died. NewsHour special correspondent Kat Wise reports from the front lines of the nation's highest priority wildfire, about 40 miles outside Portland, Oregon.
The Eagle Creek fire has charred some 30,000 acres in the heart of Oregon's scenic Columbia River Gorge. It isn't the biggest blaze crews are battling in the U.S., but today it's considered the most threatening to public safety and property. And the small town of Cascade Locks has been square in the path of the flames.
Well, we've been trying to make a donut around town of burnt vegetation so the fire can't come into town on its own power, working under our conditions rather than its own.
U.S. Forest Service Division Supervisor Eric Risdahl has been overseeing crews working around the clock to protect the community and surrounding areas.
We've made a tremendous amount of progress with the few resources we have had, and I think the danger to Cascade Locks, we're lessening that every day.
Yesterday, after smoky conditions eased, helicopters began attacking the fire with massive buckets full of Columbia River water. It's only 7% contained, but improving weather conditions are slowing its spread. The fire began over Labor Day weekend. Bone-dry vegetation and high winds pushed the flames about 13 miles in just 16 hours between Monday and Tuesday. Tracy Weaver is a public affairs official for the U.S. Forest Service and the Bureau of Land Management.
We have seen some really explosive fire behavior. A couple days ago, we reached historic peaks for a lot of our fire indices, which is incredible because it's really fairly late in the season for the Pacific Northwest. Usually we're on a serious downturn by early September.
Earlier in the week, the fire dumped ash on Portland, and much of the region has been blanketed in a smoky haze deemed unhealthy to breathe by state officials. The blaze has also closed a stretch of one of the state's main east-west interstates, where crews are now trying to clear 2,000 trees. Only a small number of homes and buildings have been destroyed so far, but hundreds remain evacuated, including 75-year-old Sally King. She left her home in the middle of the night on Monday and came to this Red Cross shelter in Gresham. King has volunteered for 30 years at a historic building overlooking the Columbia Gorge, and she expressed the collective heartbreak of millions of Oregonians.
We have visitors from all over the world coming, and they're just amazed at the beauty here. It just seems to be a magical place. There's all kinds of things to do. There's a lot of hiking.
Were you surprised how quickly this fire spread?
Yeah, it did spread very fast. But we had a very wet winter, and that makes all the grasses grow. And then the rain stopped and everything went dry. We need rain, and Oregon is well known for its rain, and people are thinking, you mean you want more rain? Yes, bring it on, Lord, thank you.
The Red Cross is currently sheltering about 200 people who have nowhere else to go, according to Monique Dugar, an organization spokesperson.
Our resources are all over the state. We've had a shelter open for almost 4 weeks at the Chetco Bar wildfire in southern Oregon. We have 2 shelters open for this Gorge wildfire, another one in the Eugene area. Our folks have been going literally nonstop for the past month, from one wildfire response to the next. We're preparing for this to be the norm.
An investigation into the fire's cause is ongoing, but authorities believe a teenager tossed fireworks into the woods.
The Eagle Creek fire is just one of a handful of blazes currently burning across Oregon. Altogether, the state's wildfires have scorched more than 1,000 square miles. That's about 1/3 of all the land burning across the United States.
The blazes throughout the West have drawn 26,000 firefighters, backed up by upwards of 200 helicopters. Back in Oregon, the focus remains on keeping the gorge fires contained, but officials and the public are already sizing up the seemingly lasting damage.
It's going to be a long, slow recovery process. Nature has evolved with fire. It will recover, but we just as humans need to be patient with it.
In the days ahead, crews will be especially focused on protecting an area of forest called the Bull Run Watershed, which supplies Portland's drinking water. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Kat Wise in Cascade Locks, Oregon.